And we are back. Welcome back to the prediction series. It is now the first day of the final round of fixtures, the first of the 4 judgment days. And I have to say, yesterday was again probably the most entertaining day so far. It sort of felt like the first day where there were real stakes on the line in every single match, and it really showed on the pitch. We had some unbelievable games in the morning, a 3-3 followed by a 3-2, non-stop drama, massive implications for every single goal that went in all of those games. And then we got to the 2 evening games where the big guns weighed in, and I have to say I was disappointed again with Brazil. I'm still not overly convinced that they are the team that could go on and win it. I don't think they've really faced a proper test yet, but that will remain to be seen once we get to the knockout stages. And then of course Portugal getting another good win against a strong Uruguay side who sadly for them are still yet to score a goal. However, today we now, like I said, go into the Judgment Day. We have, of course, England playing as well today. So stick around to my thoughts on what is going to happen in tonight's game. And yeah, let's just get into our usual process. Round up what yesterday's scores did for the series, and then we'll look ahead to all of the games that are being played today. As always, drop a like if you are enjoying this series. Let's get straight into it. So these were the games that were played yesterday. Like we said, they were full of drama, which meant that my predictions sadly did not come true on any of them. But other than like yesterday, we were actually able to get some points on the board. The only actual one that we did sadly get incorrect was the Cameroon-Serbia game, which ended 3-3 thanks to some unbelievable skill and perseverance from Cameroon, especially from Abubakar, who I don't really understand why he wasn't starting the game, considering how good a player that we all know he can be. So I'm not going to complain too much. 0 points for that one, but I feel justified in my prediction, and fair play to Cameroon for proving it wrong. And yeah, we got the correct score in the other ones, even though we didn't quite get we got the correct result, even though we didn't quite get the correct score. So all in all, a matchday score of 3, which brought the total so close to where I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be 20. It was sadly only 19. As always, let me know how you got on. And finally, let's get in to Matchday 10's predictions, and we try and predict who is going to be progressing to the next round. So these are the games being played today. 2 games at 3 o'clock before 2 games at 7 o'clock. We'll start with Group A, and we'll start with the game with the least on the line, and that is, of course, Netherlands against Qatar. Netherlands essentially already through, Qatar already out. It's just a case of how is this one going to play out. Netherlands do, of course, have to still make sure they win the game. Otherwise, there is the potential of Ecuador and Senegal getting a draw and Qatar winning by enough for Netherlands to drop out. There are some ways it happens. So I think the Netherlands are still going to try and put this one to bed pretty comfortably. And of course, there is the added bonus of if they do win by a significant margin, they guarantee themselves to top the group. So that is what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for 4-0 to the Netherlands. Qatar have put up some fight in their first 2 games, but against a team of the quality of the Netherlands, I don't really see it being anything other than an absolute trouncing. But fair play to them if they are able to show some more resistance than I'm predicting. Then to the big one, Ecuador up against Senegal. Ecuador are 1 point ahead of Senegal, which of course means Senegal must win the game if they are going to progress to the next round. Ecuador, of course, only need to get a draw, and as we know, Ecuador's biggest strength is their defence. So it's always tough to predict games like this because you have to think Ecuador are going to try and play for the clean sheet. As I said, that is their speciality. So if they're going to do that, it does mean there aren't going to be many chances going the other way. So it all just sort of comes down to how resilient and how strong they can be, and how committed and how early Senegal start to panic if they don't get that early goal. So I just think based off what I've seen in the opening 2 games from these 2 teams, I don't think Senegal are strong enough without Sadio Mane to get the goal that they need. And when it starts getting desperate, the game starts getting stretched, I can see Ecuador going down the other end and nicking a winner for themselves. So I am going to go for 1-0 to Ecuador. But obviously, if we do see an early goal for Senegal, I think we could be in for a very, very interesting game there. I just don't quite see it happening. So sorry, Senegal fans, I'm giving this one to Ecuador. Next up, it is Wales against England, or should I say next up is Group B, and we'll start with Wales and England because, again, this is really the game where there's not really a lot on the line. I think England are going to make a fair few changes for this game. Hopefully we get to see some of the more exciting players that we haven't seen so far from Gareth Southgate, but most importantly, I hope we get the win because I know we only need a draw to get through, and I know that's the sort of style of play he'll play once again, but I think even if we do play a few more of the reserve style players, we should be beating Wales. With the greatest of respects, I think it'd be a bit embarrassing if we're not able to beat Wales, especially after how poor we were against America. There is a situation where we could lose this game by 4 or more, which would then give Wales another way back into this, but I don't see that happening. I'm going to go for 2-0 England. Wales shouldn't be scoring against England, genuinely. Like, it doesn't matter what team we put out. The Welsh team should not be strong enough to score against England. And obviously, if they do, you will see in my post-match reaction tonight how embarrassed I will feel, even if they score. Because quite frankly, they shouldn't really be offering too many threats to us. And with the players that it looks like he's going to be bringing in, I think we should be taking this as a comfortable win, which would see us through at the top of the group. While that game is going on, we will have a much larger game going on between Iran and America. And similarly to the game in the other group, it is a situation where Iran only need a draw and the Americans have to win. And I think this is really, really, really tough to call. You have to look at this from the perspective that, yes, Iran lost 6-2 to England, but then they beat Wales very convincingly in that second game. Even though it did take them till the end of the game, they were the dominant team throughout and were fully deserved to get the win. Meanwhile, America struggled to get a draw against Wales, but then were the dominant team, but couldn't get the winner against England. So it's really hard to place how good these two teams are, and obviously we're not going to know for certain until they come up against each other. I think Iran score. I think they have a lot of quality going forward when they get it. So I think they will have enough to get a goal against America, but I also don't think they're good enough defensively to keep America out. So it then just sort of comes down to who is going to control the game. I think the Americans have a slightly better midfield, and that could be the key to this one, but I don't know. I feel like Iran deserve it more than America do, and that might just be me being a little bit salty after how poor England were against America, but I just have a feeling it's going to be enough for Iran. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I really think all three options are in play here. It wouldn't surprise me if Iran won. It wouldn't surprise me if America won. I just hope that the team that does get through are the team that deserves it on the night. So we shall see. That is what I'm going to go for. And as always, please let me know down in the comments what you think about the predictions that I have made. And of course, what you think is going to happen in these games as well, because as always, these games will be in the description of the video, allowing you to copy and paste them down so you can tell me your predictions. Thank you for watching. As always, I will be back tomorrow where we do this all over again for groups C and D.